Jam. Toon Jam.
Hola, amigos, and welcome to Toon Jam. I'm Matt,
And I'm J-Man.
and we're back on the everyday Toon Jam. No more spooky times.
No.
That ended last week. Though, however, we are on possibly an arguably more fitting spooky time episode than our previous, with Maya and the Three. Some spooky goings on in this. It's not too spooky, but there's spooky bits, gods of the dead and whatnot. And this is a new show on Netflix, so let me tell you a bit about it. Maya and the Three is a Mexican animated fantasy streaming television miniseries created by Jorge R. Gutierrez. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I might be wrong, and I'm sorry, as always, for my pronunciation mishaps, but I think that's right. And produced by Tangent Animation. The 9-episode series premiered on Netflix on October 22nd, 2021. So pretty fresh. Going back in time, in November 2018, it was reported that Netflix was developing the animated series about a Mesoamerican warrior, and the series has Jorge Gutierrez as the director, creator, and executive producer, while Tim Yoon is a producer. Sylvia Olivas and Jeff Ranjo are co-executive producers. Gutierrez, Olivas, Doug Langdale, and Candy Kelty Langdale are writers, and Ranjo is the storytelling head for the series. The series was described by Gutierrez in October 2018 as equivalent to a Mexican version of Lord of the Rings, but hilarious. On September 25th, 2021. Gutierrez described an exclusive clip from the series, saying the scene was inspired by Street Fighter 2, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Kill Bill, Ninja Scroll, and a chola fight he saw in Tijuana, Mexico. So quite a lot of inspirations there, just to give you a taste of what is to come, I suppose, from the series. He told Squiggly that the series is deeply inspired by the glorious Mesoamerican art and the Museo Nacional de Antropología exhibits. He noted that the show's protagonist Maya is inspired by his mother, wife, and sister, and hinted that it would have similarities to his previous works, El Tigre and The Book of Life. The series closed the Guadalajara Film Festival on October 9th, 2021, with the airing of 2 of the show's episodes at a special event. And a fun fact, the series was created using the open source Blender 3D animation software.
Well.
We've come across this before, but this has got to be, what do you reckon, like one of the most mainstream uses of it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
So we will come back to that in a bit. I take it you had not watched this before?
Nope.
No, it's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
So none of us had. Now let's just check out the reception. We like a bit of reception, so it's everybody's favorite guessing game.
Hey.
We've got IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, so let's start with IMDb. What is your guess for the rating of Maya and the Three on IMDb?
I'm gonna go high-ish. I reckon it's like I reckon 7.2. 7.2.
Ooh, you're a bit off. It's 8.3.
Really? Oh, that's a lot higher. Yeah.
Good rate. You got to remember it's quite early on as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That could fluctuate. But now here's the real test. Rotten Tomatoes. So we've got the audience score and just the average tomato meter or tomatometer. Don't know how you want to say it. Let's go with the critic score. What do you think it is?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes. What's it going to be?
I mean, I'm gonna go 100%.
100%. You are correct.
No,
Of course, it's 100%.
Look at that.
It's
Who
on
knew?
Rotten Tomatoes. It's 100%. Come on. What about the audience score? The audience score is a bit more difficult.
Maybe probably 80 on that one. 80.
Very close. 82%.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That sinks. That kind of sinks
yeah,
with the IMDb.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. It's
Yeah.
pretty much right. So there you go. Okay, so it's been received well on all platforms that we're covering right now, which is IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. That's 2 platforms. So what about Twitter? What have people on Twitter got to say about Maya and the Three?
Yeah, fairly positive on Twitter, it seems. We've got Saphira Nix 88 who says, "Can't recommend Maya and the Three enough. Fantastic watch. Please take the time out to enjoy this colourful, exciting, heartwarming show."
Good review.
Mm.
And a plead at the end as well. So that's that's a really good review.
Because they beg for you to go watch it.
Yeah, go and watch it.
So yeah, ticking all the boxes there. Colourful, exciting, heartwarming. Not bad. We've got PJ Pajamas, nice name, who says, "Maya and the Three is my favourite animated show now."
Was that in capitals?
All caps, yeah. One. 3 exclamation marks.
So that's real passion. Passionate
Yeah.
about Maya and the Three.
That's it. They quit shouting at people in the street to go to Twitter and bash that into their keys. So loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Nice.
We've got Buenz1 who says, "Watching Maya and the Three with the little sis is good, but the pacing is so fast." So that's probably like the first complaint, really.
So I mean, it's still saying, it's good.
It's good, but the pacing is fast.
Well, here's an issue I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair.
Come back to that later, maybe.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, good assessment. Good assessment there. We've got Cam's Eye View who says, "Maya and the Three is just a non-stop roller coaster of laughing with the jokes, being slack-jawed at how great the action looks, and then becoming an emotional blubbering goop of emotions when the finale hits, and then going through all 3 of them at the same time. I love it."
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a really glittering review. That's passionate. That's someone that really watched this and connected with it.
With everything, yeah, and it's telling those, if you haven't seen it, this is what you're going to expect. Expect to be blown away by all these different factors, all at the same time.
Yeah, nice coverage.
Nice review. And then finally, we've got Angel Prince who says, "Maya and the Three pay for my therapy."
I mean, I don't know what that means.
I don't know if they offer that as a service. I think that's that they're now somewhat traumatized by their experience, or they're thoroughly upset by events that have taken place in the series, and they want compensation in the form of therapy. So,
do you think they're emotionally connected with it that much?
Yeah, that they're now a broken person. And would like Netflix
compensation
and other parties involved to now pay for them to go to weekly therapy, which I don't think I've ever seen anyone take that stance before. No, you are responsible. You need to pay for this.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. You can't quarrel with that.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that is a good review.
I think so, yeah. I think that you can still put a positive spin on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're saying, "I hated this so much." I need therapy, but I don't think they are.
No.
So really, there's no bad reviews there.
No.
This is 100% Rotten Tomatoes material.
Oh yeah, if anything's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it is, of course. This is
interesting. Okay. Well, okay. Let's dig in. So let's hit back on the Blender thing. I want to go back to that first.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy that this is all done on free software.
Is it all made in Blender, did they say? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Well, it said it didn't. I don't think it's specified. So maybe it's not all done. It just said the series was created using open source Blender 3D animation software. So
they at least used it for elements. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's still something to be like.
It is something because, as well, especially as a series, but probably anyway, this is some of the most impressive CGI I feel like I've seen in an animated film. Or at least it's up there.
Yeah, it definitely it's got a fidelity that is very high. Very high. Really looks nice. And
it's like things like their hair.
Yeah.
Is almost bizarre how realistic it looks.
Yeah, it's not just the style of it, because I think everything that they do here, like, it looks really nice. You've got really cool characters, like really interesting looking characters with intricate things about them as well, because you've got this, you've got the designs of all the like the everything from the temples down to like little trinkets and artifacts that people are wearing, and everything has got like vibrant patterns all over it. So the characters look great, as well as just their stance, and they're all very different looking. For saying it's got quite a big cast as well. Everyone looks very different, but then you've got like a level of detail there that just adds to it. Like you like you say, you've got the gloss on the hair. You've got like the lighting looks really nice, and you've got lots of things that glow and stuff. And sometimes that can make things look a bit odd if it's not done right. But everything looks really nice. It really adds to it. You've got like hairs and feathers and like just little things that when you put them in there, that really makes the CGI like pack an extra punch.
Yeah. It's strange. It's like that. What I really like about it is the sort of the fact that it's so cartoony, yet mixed with that realism.
Yeah,
it really gives it its own look. It's like I don't feel like there's much that I've seen like this before. Like you feel like you're both watching an old Cartoon Network series or Nickelodeon series, whilst it's almost like stop motion. It's that realistic.
Yeah. It does look so good. It's crazy really as well that it's a series, because there's films out there that are CGI, films, features that get released, cinematic releases and everything, and they don't look as good as this at all.
No.
What is it, like 9 episodes or something? Like
it's
half an hour each. So like, I mean, that's a much longer running time than your average sort of like family film. So to sustain it for that long is really impressive as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's something is that, like, I think we may have mentioned it before that in a TV series, maybe you're not expecting things to look quite as good. You can sort of give it a bit of leeway because it's like, well, it's just on TV or whatever. It's a bit different than, if you got up out of your recliner and went to the cinema to watch it. You can be like, well, whatever, it's in the comfort of my own home sort of thing. But this really sort of like turns that on its head really, because it's probably much better than, or at least it's definitely on par with, the biggest sort of like blockbuster CGI films out there at the minute, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, easily. It just looks phenomenal. It's the first thing you notice. Like, it's not like you watch it and then you think after a while, like, actually, this looks really good. You notice it straight away.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like you say because it is a TV series and you're not expecting it, but I think you would anyway. even as a film. And I think it really does help it. The
Yeah.
fact they're so cartoony as well.
Yeah.
Because you just think like, oh man, like there's some one character in particular, you know, the I don't know her name, the goddess of tattoos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name at all for the life of me, but she was almost a bit uncanny valley for me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it was about her, but I just felt very uncomfortable when she was on screen. It was so bizarre, and I couldn't explain it because she doesn't particularly look real.
Yeah.
But there's something about her that did, and it was a bit upsetting, I thought.
Right.
But that is quite impressive, because you wouldn't expect that from this at all.
No.
Yeah, very interesting.
Really, really nice look. And I've got to mention as well, because I sort of I've got a problem with my TV at the minute where I think it's on its way out. So I've had some issues with the like in the dark. There's like red and blue speckles and all sorts of nonsense going on with the pixels. Yeah. And like the lighting on my TV is really bizarre at the minute. So like sometimes when things go off, like the letterboxes, like even the black bars and stuff light up. So it's going all weird. But there's a thing in the show where occasionally things will like pop out of the letterbox, like so there'll be moments where like someone raises a sword to the screen, and it comes out of those black bars. And for the first time it happened, I thought it was my TV doing it. I was like, oh man, this is really broken. I really need to get into television. But then, as I kept watching the show, I was like, oh, actually no, they're doing that on purpose. Like,
yeah, is that sort of when they do the character introductions, or?
Well, when they do that, the bars disappear, don't they? So it goes full screen, which is a really cool effect anyway. But yeah, the more you watch, the more you'll see there's moments where, like, you know, laser beams sort of things like fly out of the bars, or people draw their weapons out, or people stand tall over the top of it. It's just which is a really cool effect as well that I don't think I've ever really seen before. But it full on makes it seem 3D, obviously, like, because it's coming out of your screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, to think that I thought, oh man, my TV is really broken.
Yeah, it says more about your TV than anything else, really. I guess.
Yeah. So you know, well played, team at Maya and the Three, for making me convinced that my TV was fully broken at that point. But yeah, I'm really. It's a really cool thing to see, though. Like once you notice it, you'll start noticing it a bit more, and it doesn't get old. It really doesn't. Like there's a lot of action scenes that sort of use it, but it's still like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Oh, that looks really cool every time. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out.
Yeah. Let's move on to the story, and let's touch on the pacing first, because it was mentioned in the tweets.
Yes.
I do agree at times it's bizarrely fast, you know, for saying how much time they've got.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even feel like it's hard to explain what that pacing is. I don't know if it's because they're on more than anything just desperate to get to some action. But I do think that the only real I think issue that I could really fathom while watching this is that, and I think it's when it's those emotional moments. They get a bit cut off, because you're kind of like, well, you've not given me a chance to sort of come to terms with what this means.
Yeah.
And it's not till after it's happened that you're like, oh, that's actually quite sad, but it didn't hit as hard as it could have done. No,
not at all. Yeah, I definitely think it really accelerates in odd places. And it is definitely strange for saying it's a TV series, because it feels like you're on a film time. It feels like, well, this has only got 5 minutes max that we can spend on this. But it's 9 episodes. Like, you could have given people some time to relate.
What's weird is it's not like they're all 20 minutes.
No,
they're not even all the same length. They're between like 35 and 40 minutes.
Yeah. So
they've got the time. In each episode, I do find some of the episodes are a little bit formulaic, which isn't really a problem with it being a limited series as well. I don't think there's enough time to get bored of it, but I do find it's very much like, particularly early on, it's like she's trying to find her team. So it's like team members origin, find them, have a fight. Team members origin, find them, have a fight. And it was a bit that is I would call it up on that a little bit, because you kind of are you just going to keep doing this?
I know. I was hoping there'd be a break in things. But, I mean, look, there is. It doesn't sort of stick to that all the way through.
Yes, yeah.
But it does. The first few sort of feel like, oh right, we're really just taking a step at a time every episode, sort of thing. Like,
and to the point, you're watching it and you're kind of like, well, if there was an episode without a fight, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Like, it doesn't need to be there. I get that that's part of the show and they want to have action in it, but it gets a bit, here's new boss level, new fight, and it's just like a different fight with a different person.
Yeah, it did feel like the action was almost like too much sometimes. Like, I really did, like, especially because there's a lot of emotional stuff to the story there, and really just get rushed through. Whereas it's like, oh, we go past this so we can get to another fight. But it's like, I feel like I've seen the fights now. Like, because there was definitely there's like a core story point that I completely missed out on, because it was just so, I think it was touched a little for a minute maybe, and I didn't even realize it had happened. So I was like, oh, I kind of had to catch up later on and be like, oh, okay, I guess that occurred. But I don't remember that. But like the 12-minute long action scene, I can remember. So
I think it tends to sacrifice story points and emotion for that fight, and I suppose when reading through their sort of the inspirations, they were more. I mean, he was literally describing a scene which was probably a fight scene, but it sounds like that was their main focus, was the fighting. And I don't think they needed to do that as much as they did, like, because there are scenes that still have action in it. They still have the emotion. I did quite like, as much as I've just said, formulaic and stuff, the little origin stories. Most of them had some sort of action in it. But you still felt for the characters. Whereas some of them, some sort of introductions, you're just a bit like, well, you've just gone straight in, and I'm not really there yet.
I know what you mean. I think story-wise as well, like there is quite a lot to it. It's quite complex, really, for saying, like, it's, you get it in a bunch of episodes, sort of thing, and it's very fast. But at the same time, there's a lot of sort of interesting sort of like moral conundrums there. Like, it touches on a lot of sort of social issues, as well as, obviously, it's got a huge sort of hereditary thing there. Like, there's a bunch of history and folklore and stuff that's all kind of in there in the mix.
And I suppose to a lot of people, it's not like, if you did this with Greek mythology, a lot of people already know the basics of it. So you don't have to explain stuff. So with this, they're really introducing it to everyone as well.
Definitely.
Because it's it's less mainstream to a I guess, especially, for us, for a European audience, definitely. I can't speak for America and the US and stuff, but for us, it's definitely, we don't know much about it at all. And I know, like, as a kid, I remember doing the Aztecs briefly at school, and it was so interesting. This would have been amazing.
I mean, great way to learn that kind of stuff.
Because that's it. That's one of the things I wanted to like. And that's one of the things that I love the most about it, is that it is like mythological, but it's so fresh. And it's just, it makes you realize how much of it, like, the world you don't see, and in our media. And there's so many different, historic religions and mythologies and whatever. that we just don't really know much about, because and you could easily have fun with them like this in such a good way.
Yeah.
And the story, and as much as we're talking about emotional points not landing because of stuff, there are so many emotional points that do land as well. So it's not just like you're watching it and it's like 30 minutes of action over and over again. There are plenty of bits that you will connect to. I mean, just listen to the tweets that people have connected to them.
Oh yeah.
And they're really good. I just kind of wish that they focused on that more almost.
Oh yeah, same here. I think they could have given some bits definitely a bit more time. But it does feel really fresh, like especially to us. And like you say, in comparison to like how many iterations of like Greek mythology have we had over the years, like just in all media, from films to games to everything, like it's everywhere. But this is something that we really missed out on, like for whatever reason. So it's great that people are bringing this to the limelight and sharing it with people, because I mean it's really enjoyable as well, the way that they've done this. And it's it's a PG, isn't it? Like, so it's family friendly. I mean, it's aimed at a young audience. I will say that like some bits are pretty spooky. Like it's got to be for a sort of older kids, I'd say, because there's definitely some darker moments.
I think it's tough, isn't it? I think your kid, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have loved this. Probably at any age. But because it's silly as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's silly. It's fun. It is heartwarming. And like you say, at some points it is sort of, especially with the villains. Can get a bit like spooky, I guess.
Yeah, a bit spooky, a bit dark, but I think that's also really important as well, because culturally, the way these guys see death is very different. Like the characters in the show, like they express that, and it's sort of, if you haven't seen a lot of stuff as a kid from over here like that, like maybe you don't really see it from that perspective, but having the difference on the way, some things are hidden away over here. The dark, spooky side is kind of like, it's very taboo. But celebrations like the Day of the Dead and stuff like that doesn't happen here. Whereas obviously, like it's really cool to have that extra a different viewpoint on it and see it in a way that's not necessarily hidden away, or it doesn't make it spooky really. Like if it's brought into sort of the everyday, it stops being this thing that's scary. Which is really good. Like, so I think that's really interesting. So definitely, if you have got younger kids, it's something to, this may be a discussion you end up having somewhere down the line. It might open up some doors. So, be prepared.
Yeah. But I think it's got a great, it has got a good story, and you get involved. You really want to watch the next episode at the end of each episode, I think, and you just this is really, and it just feels so fresh. It genuinely does feel really, really fresh. Okay, well, before we give away too much, shall we move on to our reviews?
Yes.
Hello, welcome to Netflix Studios. How can I help you today?
Hello. Well, yes, actually, quite a difficult request. Today, I've this here is it's a bill for my therapy. So if you can just go ahead and I take cash, or do you give checks? Do you give checks or?
Sorry, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I don't quite understand what you're requesting.
Yes, so I've watched many of your shows on your Netflix streaming service, and well, let's just say that they didn't go down very well at all. And so I need to see someone on a regular basis to talk about the the tragedies, the plot points, the pacing sometimes of these shows. Because let me tell you that Maya and the Three, I wasn't really ready for that. So if you can just take this, and I know it's a large sum. They told me just pay it all up front. So I'm giving this to you. You can give me the money for it.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's just not something that that's not something that we cover really.
Because I sat down to watch, it's because it's what's called F is for family, and I thought, well, this is very family friendly. And it's just a man shouting at people the whole time. He's so angry. And so I thought, well, that's fine. We'll leave that one. And then I tried, there was one, Masters of the Universe, and all the men died immediately on that one. It was horrifying.
Yes. I mean, some of our content is quite emotional, but it's not something that that we wouldn't cover bills for therapy, I'm afraid.
There was one called it's Stranger Things, and I thought, well, life is strange, isn't it? So I thought, oh, this could be quite pleasant. This one, there's a horrible monster thing. I didn't sleep for days. They went to a place upside down, but they were right side up, and then it was all back in a time that I can't relate to. I watched one about a crown. I thought it was the crown. I thought it was going to be an antique one, and it was just lots of people talking at me the whole time. What about people lost in space and they didn't even find themselves?
I'm so sorry that it's affected you. So, have you tried using the thumbs up, thumbs down system that we have?
I try. I don't know how to. It keeps sending me to other things that are related to it. I tried to say no, I don't want to watch this. And then it took me to Lock and Key, and there's these people in the house. There's horrible things going on in that one. Let me tell you. And I don't remember how many times I've looked at my keys now and just had PTSD.
Have you tried using the kids profile instead? Maybe that would help.
Well, I thought so too, and then there was shows on there that upset me equally as much. There's lots of. I thought it was all shiny and fun, and that Maya and the Three. That sent me to places I didn't know I wanted to go to. And there was a hello ninja and there's a snail that went really fast, like unnaturally fast for a snail to go.
Yes. Oh, well, I'm so sorry to that. I think, like I say, we just don't cover those kind of things. But I can give you a personal suggestion. I think you should just throw your TV in the bin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be cheaper, actually.
Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. So we've got thumbs up, an introduction to a new mythology. How fun. Thumbs down. Let's fight right now.
Huh?
And shaky middle. Some of those inspirations. Street Fighter 2. Just boggles the mind. I just don't know. But hey ho. It's culturally massive, so you can't argue with that. Okay, so Maya and the Three. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So I mean, immediately you turn it on and your eyes are ablaze with just the rainbow wonder of everything that's on screen there. Like it really is a treat for the old peepers, this one. I mean, I love the character designs. They're also so very different, so so fun and exciting. And a lot of the times as well, like they look like one thing, and then once the action starts, it's like you've got all these crazy things that they do and move all their body parts around, and it's really just, you could sit and watch it on mute really, and
Yeah.
just enjoy the look of it.
Just play the Street Fighter
Until
soundtrack.
my TV was broken, and I'm pretty convinced it actually is. What's that?
Just play the Street Fighter soundtrack in the background.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's what they wanted. I think that's how it was made. It's just Guile's theme. Yeah. He just made it to that. So yeah, really, really nice to watch. Story-wise, there's definitely lots of good stuff in there. I mean, obviously, telling the story itself just is a good thing to explore, to introduce to other people. And yeah, there's definitely pacing issues. It's some things just were so fast. I was like, what's happened now? Like you blink and you've missed some kind of revelation of somebody's backstory. So maybe you could have slowed that down a bit, give it a little breathing time. But I mean, the action is really fun to watch. And I mean, there is a lot of it. But it's still, it still surprises you. Things still pop out of the screen everywhere. And overall, it does feel satisfying. The characters, even though they could have had more time with them, like you still do get to know enough of them, and everyone seems to have like a compelling story. And I think that they tackle a lot of the issues in a really good way, in a way that both kids will understand, and ones that sort of open up doors to conversations down the line as well, which is something that not a lot of shows do. All of this, in such a sort of slick, cool, and really fun. Like it's fun as well. There's a lot of dark stuff to it, but it will still make you chuckle along the way. So, all those things combined, how can I not give it a thumbs up?
Oh boy!
Oh,
thumbs up, fresh, 100%.
100%, as they
100% round to Mars, get in. Yeah. It's I think this is just such a great show. Like you say, it looks so nice, both technically and just visually anyway. Even if it was 2D animation, the colors and the style of the actual, the art style, everything about it looks good anyway. But then they've really done well with the CG, and it just looks so nice. But the story, when it's not running at a million miles an hour, can hit quite nicely, and just you buy into the characters.
Yeah.
And you buy into the main characters, which really is the important thing, I think. Like some of the characters are, because of the pacing, you don't feel maybe they're lost, or just you don't connect with them just because it's a bit like, well, they've only been in it 2 seconds. I don't really understand why I'm supposed to care about that. But the main characters you do care about, and I think that's as long as that happens, you've done most of your job anyway.
That's it.
It's pretty interesting. I forgot to mention that I don't know if have you seen the Disney film Raya and the Last Dragon?
No.
It's a very similar storyline.
Oh really?
Yeah, which is weird because it's like Maya and Raya.
Oh yeah.
So that's basically like it's not exactly the same, but she has to go and collect warriors in the same way this is, but that's all in a movie.
Right.
And that movie, I mean, talk about pacing issues. That's incredible.
Really?
They've packed way too much. They've got like it's basically a TV series thrown into a film, which just,
oh no.
it's not bad, but you do feel a bit like, whoa, this is, you just hear you there, and it's too much. And it's almost like I remember watching it saying this would have been a good series, and this essentially has taken that premise and made it into a series. And it works really well. And yeah, I just can't see, I mean, the problems, though they are there, then they're not enough to put you off the show, and it is really enjoyable. And I can see why people are so passionate about it, because like I said before, it feels so fresh, so enjoyable. And there's just not really anything else like that on at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I too am a thumbs up.
Look at that.
2 thumbs up. Bosh. Good stuff. Well, we may have left spooky times, but it's on a fresh note. So that is always good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, feel free to rate us on whatever it is you listen to, because it really, 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 really does help us, and it helps other people find us. If you'd like some bonus stuff, well, you can get some bonus episodes over on our Patreon, where we do different themed runs. So a few episodes on this and a few episodes of that. We're currently on the baby run. So that's all a bit of fun. So check that out. We also have a merchandise store, which is bit.ly/Toon Jam shop. Check that out if you want some Toon Jam memorabilia. So there's all sorts of fun stuff on there. And we also, if you want to catch up on many of our previous old episodes, you can do so on our YouTube at Toon Jam Pod, which is the same for the 3 gods and goddesses of death of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod. So if you want to get in touch with us for whatever reason, you can do so on there. Other than that, once again, thank you so much, and until next time, as always, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.